Hi everyone, it's Sonia, and today I'm going to be talking to you about series that I need to start or finish. Most of these I have started, but I just have not got myself around to finishing them because I'm a lazy piece of shit. And others have been recommended to me by my friends, and again, I've just been lazy about it, or I've kind of just lost interest over time, which is not a good thing because they're all relatively good series and I should be reading them all. So, without further nonsense, let's dig right in. First series that I really need to get down to is The Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson. I haven't even touched on the first book and I do not know much about the premise other than we have a princess who flees her wedding day with important documents and goes into hiding, and there's something about an assassin and a love interest, and probably something about not knowing who's who between the love interest and the assassin, but I could be wrong about that. So, I've heard good hype about this all across BookTube. Goodreads seems to have real high ratings, so on and so forth. So I don't know why I'm wasting time. I have the first book. I should really just dig in. Next series that I should have read a long ass time ago, but I have not, is The Kane Chronicles by Rick Riordan. I don't have the first book, so I can't really start it. I just need to get that book first. And this is about Egyptian mythology. So we have two main characters who are both of Egyptian descent, i.e. people of color. So I don't know what's wrong with me and why I haven't read it. The general consensus on this is that they're not as good as the Percy Jackson series, but why are they not as good as the Percy Jackson series? I don't understand. I might understand after I read it, but I don't know. Next series that I really need to finish, I just started it, so it really shouldn't be counted, is the A Darker Shade of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab. I really enjoyed this. This is about a guy who travels between parallel universes that are anchored around this one city that's named London in all three universes, but of course the world around them is different. And he screws up something. He brings something back from one of the Londons into another one that has this old chain effect of bad consequences, and now he is in deep shit. So I'm really excited to read the second book. This first book was a little bit slow for me. It was a lot of world building. It's 3 separate worlds that need to be created and developed to the fullest extent that they can within this one book. And so I guess I'm giving it a get out of jail free thing for being a little slow. But I'm hyped to read the second book. I really love the main characters in this, and Victor Schwab does a good-ass job with diversity. Next series that I have not even started, and I don't know when I'm gonna start it, to be honest, is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is a gigantanormous book, and I am just straight up terrified of getting into this. So we follow a main character named Kavoth, and he's done some big time shit and is getting into more shit. That's the gist of the blurb at the back. Patrick Rothfuss is a huge name in high fantasy, and so I'm just scared in general getting into it, but it's supposed to be super good, and I really should be reading it. The next series that I do need to finish, I just have the last book to finish in the trilogy, is Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. I really enjoyed this. I can't really say much about the history of it because a lot of that is what the book is about, but the general gist of it is that our contemporary world went through some dystopian nonsense, and so we end up in a future world that's actually medieval, and it's following our main character, Kelsey, who has been smuggled away so she could grow up without being attacked and inherit the throne from her mother. Fascinating premise. I really, really enjoyed just everything about it. Of course, peppered with some misogyny here and there, but I'm willing to give it a simple eye roll and ignore that paragraph and then move on to the rest of the story because the plot is gripping. Next series that I'm only procrastinating on reading because I feel like I'm not in the right mood to read it, which is just an excuse, is the Wrath of the Dawn by Renée Ahdieh. This is a retelling of the 1001 Nights origin tale, I guess, of Scheherazade and Khalid, or at least those are the characters in this book. And I guess it's spun into a love story or something like that. But I grew up on the 1001 Nights tales and the origin story. All of that was more in my life than Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty ever was. So I'm just afraid of what it's going to do to my childhood memories. But I've heard great reviews of it, so I really should not be worried. I just need to like bite my tongue and get into it, honestly. The next series that I'm more reluctant to finish because I'm just kind of bored of it is The Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. I'm just not that interested in the main characters, so it's something about these 3 lands. We're following 3 characters from 3 different lands. One's a princess, one's a prince, and one's a rebel. And the 3 kingdoms are going into war. That's all I can say. The princess is just really boring in my opinion. Magnus is just straight up weird, creepy. Jonas is Jonas. He's nothing special about him, so I'm just not very entertained by this book per se. The world building, fascinating enough. The mythology, his history, origin of the conflict, well and good, but just these characters are not enough to keep me hooked onto the story. So we'll see. I have the next 2 books in this series, so I'll get around to it sometime. Next series that I have complained about several times is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I'm still on Scarlet right now, halfway through the book. I read like 6 pages the other day, and I could not stop rolling my eyes. I'm just thoroughly annoyed by both Scarlet and Cinder at this point in time, even though I really enjoyed Cinder in her first book. Yeah, everything is just annoying at this point in time, so if you can give me some kind of motivation to get through the second book, or if I can actually skip the second book and keep reading, let me know, because I want to finish this series, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be doing it anytime soon. The next series that I really enjoyed, but I've just kind of lost my momentum in, is The Young Elites by Marie Lu. I really enjoyed this. So this story is about our main character who, what's her name? Adelaide? Adelina, who kind of goes through the formative arc of a villain. And the ending of this first book actually, drives the nail into the coffin about how she's definitely going to be a villain, and I really enjoyed that. It was great. That was some juicy, dark narrative. It's been too long since I read it, so I either need to reread it or just bite my tongue, buy the second book, and, suffer through the fact that I do not remember anything. Next series that I am ashamed to say I have not read is the Shadow and Bones trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. I've read Six of Crows. I will die for Six of Crows. I just have not touched these. The premise of this, I know, is something in the same realm of Nina from the Six of Crows, or something about Grisha, and then something about a Darkling and Alina, and blah blah, something. That's all I know about it, and I should know more because I should have read this 8 years ago. But I have not. I have a first book. I just need to read it. The next book that I'm reading right now, but cannot seem to get myself into, is An Ember in Ashes by Salva Tahir. My friend Delphina says that this book is superb for the most part, but I'm 25 pages in and I cannot keep my attention with this book. I just can't. It's so meh, there's nothing too exceptional about it, except for our main character is a person of color. Yes, finally, thank you. I just need to read it. That's all there is to it. I just need to read it. So the last book in my long pile of series that I need to finish is the 3rd book to Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, and this one is Library of Souls. I'm currently reading it, as you can see by my post-it note, and I'm enjoying it. Not as much as the other 2 books, but I'm only 60 pages in, so I just need to shut my trap and read it. But I am loving it. I love the premise of the book. I love the photos. I just love the design of the books. It's real good. I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now. I'm enjoying it. So we'll get a series wrap up for these 3 soon enough. That's all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions on which series I should read before or which ones I should finish, sooner rather than later, please let me know, because this is a long pile of books that I really need to get to. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe because I need an ego boost, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!